What would you buy if you had $1 million to spend on a mining farm? Well, in this video I'm going to give you my answer, as well as we'll look at how long it would take for it to ROI and how much money it would make per year and so on, so stick around. Warning, there are people pretending to be me in the comments and on social platforms. I'll never ask you to add me on WhatsApp or Telegram, and I'll never ask you to send me money, crypto, or your personal information. Alright, so please be careful, use your common sense, and don't let any of these imposters fool you. Alright, now back to the video. Hey, how's it going, GPU heads? Thanks for clicking on my video. 𝗧-𝗦𝗛𝗧𝗦 here. And first, just a quick reminder, we finally have official GPU heads merchandise now available, so you can get that at 𝗥𝗘𝗛𝗙𝗜𝗂.com. This first design is only going to be available until September. It is the, skull biting the GPU, as you can see there. We got hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, water bottles. I am super excited to finally have this available for us, and it's a great way for you guys to support the channel and get something awesome in return. So yeah, just a quick reminder, but let's move on to the actual video now. So for this video, I've made another spreadsheet. You guys know I love spreadsheets, for basically like investing in a big mining farm and then putting in, the different coins you would be hashing and how much you would be making for those different coins, and then calculating sort of how much the power would cost, how much you would be yielding, and finally how much money you would be making and how long it would take to ROI and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's hop on over to the computer and have a look at the spreadsheet. Alright, so here you can see the spreadsheet on my screen here, and now just quickly before I show you what I did, I want to say, please let me know what you guys would do for this. It doesn't need to be as precisely as I've done it here, just kind of like loosely what you would do if you were given $1 million to spend on a mining farm. And just also I want to say that for my example, I haven't taken into account things like leasing the property or cooling and airflow and things like that. The only thing I've taken into account here is kind of the actual mining hardware. Just because this is my video and this was the way it seemed most fun to me, so that is what I've done. Feel free to do it differently. I'll leave a link to the spreadsheet in the description of the video, so you can go check it out yourself and have a play around. Just remember to click File and then make a copy in order to be able to actually make edits to it. But with that out of the way, let's have a look at the actual spreadsheet here. So here what you'll do is you'll just list the items that you buy, what they cost, how many of them you have. It will show you the total price for them. Here you have to fill in how many kilowatt hours they consume per day, and then the hash rate they would get on different algorithms. Now for my example here, the 4 coins that I've went with for what I wanted to focus my farm on is Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, ERGO, and FLUX. And the reason for that is because I feel like those are sort of 4 of the, stronger proof of work coins that I believe in. Of course Bitcoin as well, but I'm not personally very interested in mining Bitcoin on a bigger scale like this. And I thought it was just also going to be more fun making something that would be mostly, GPU oriented, with at least 3 of these coins being very much, ASIC resistant and mostly focused on GPU mining. So that's what we got here. You fill in the hash rates that would get there. Then you can see some stats and things here. So what this is the all-time high price for the coin, what the price for it is today. Now those are both filled in manually, so you'd have to change that if you want to change it, as well as this, which is how many Ethereum, coins you would yield per mega hash per day for each of the different coin algorithms here. And then here is where you fill in the price you are willing to sell the mined coins at, in order to then calculate your actual profit down here. And then it will automatically fill in how much your hash rate is, over here, from, taking the results from over here, how much you would be yielding, how much your revenue would be basically, also how much your revenue would be per dollar invested, how much your profit would be, and how much your profit per dollar invested would be. And it does that for all of the coins here. Of course, if you make a copy of this, feel free to just change these to other coins if you're more interested in mining other coins. But let's have a look at my one. So this is what I filled in. And my sort of thinking with this was, because with $1 million budget, right, what would you do? Well, I would try to make a fully solar mining farm, because I think that is a really cool idea. So that is what I have gone with. So let's focus on the solar first here. So I have gone with a price of per 1000 watts of solar setup, the price would be about $1,000. Now, maybe that is too little. I've seen prices below there, I've seen prices above there. Take into account, it's not just for the panels, it's for the actual setup. Now, what I would do is, of course, probably, you know, if you have $1 million to invest in a solar setup, which I'm pretty sure 99.9% of us don't have anyway, so no point getting all arguing about it in the comments. But what I've sort of envisioned here is that if I were to actually have that kind of money to make a big mining farm with, what I would do is I would obviously find a place to set that up where I wouldn't need a solar setup with batteries. So I would set it up in a place where all of my excess energy I could sell back to the grid at cost to then get that back during the nighttime when I'm not generating solar. So I would specifically look for properties where that would be the case, and I could get a deal with the power company like that, because that is a huge money save in terms of, you know, not having to buy the batteries, so only having to buy the actual panels and inverters, right? So that is why I believe you could get away on such a large scale like this, $1,000 per 1000 watt of solar setup. So as you can see here, when filling that in, basically I just calculated sort of roughly how much solar energy 1000 watts of solar panels would produce in terms of kilowatt hours per day, and then I'm filling that in as a negative number, because obviously it's not using up kilowatt hours, it is generating kilowatt hours. So that's what we have there. You can see that more than half of my budget goes towards solar, and which might be silly, but this is, you know, this is what I would do, and this was fun to me, so this is what I wanted to do. And let's talk a little bit more about that later, why that might be a bad idea. But then, as you can see here, I've tried to balance my budget for the remaining $400,000 to be about 100,000 per coin for these 4 coins. So you can see basically what I've gone with is as efficient of a rig as possible for each coin. And if you want to know why I've specifically done that, it is basically because of how I believe things will shake out once Ethereum goes proof of stake. I'm not going to go into it too deeply because I just made a video about it on this channel. So I'll leave a link for that video up in the card as well as in the description of this video. Please go check that video out. I think it's really informative of kind of how mining will look after the merge happens, which should be about September 19th is the loose date they've been giving us. So please go check that video out. I worked really hard on that video, so I think you'll like it. Now, let's have a look here. So obviously I'm going with the Jas miner for Ethereum Classic. It simply just is the most efficient miner there is for Ethereum Classic. There aren't really anything other that even comes close. And that is why I'm going with it. I believe it will absolutely stay profitable even after the Ethereum merge. And by the way, if you're wondering about this price here, that is the cheapest price possible, and that is using my promo code that I have for you guys. So if you do want to get a Jas miner, then please go check out the link in the video description and use the promo code I have for you guys. It does give you a little bit off the Jas miner to get you the best price possible. So moving on, that is what I have for Ethereum Classic, getting 21 Jas miners for a total cost of just under $100,000. Then we are doing our Ravencoin setup, and that's using the RX 6700 XTs, which thank you to the YouTuber Kiwi Crypto Miner for, you know, tweaking AMD cards. He figured out that you can actually get extremely good efficiency out of this card on Ravencoin. So investing about $100,000 into 6700 XT rigs, we got 16 of them, 16 Octominer X12s. So that is our Ravencoin setup. We then move on to our ERGO setup, where we're going with one of my all-time favorite mining GPUs, the RTX 3070s. And we are doing 12 of those rigs, again using Octominers because they are just so easy and they work really well. So we are doing that, 12 of those rigs. The RTX 3070 is extremely efficient on ERGO. And then finally for our FLUX setup, we are going with another 12 Octominer X12s. with RTX 2080 Ti's. Now, if you want to know why that is, I have a whole video on what the most efficient GPU for flux mining is, so I leave that up in the card as well as in the description of the video as well, if you can check that out. But yeah, spoiler alert, the RTX 2080 Ti is the most efficient. Now, you have the RTX 3070 is about the same in terms of hash rate per watt. However, since the 2080 Ti is about half as powerful as the 3070 on Flux, basically means you can fit more hash rate into each octominer. So it's kind of a win-win there. The 2080 Ti is also a little bit cheaper than an RTX 3070, so you are getting twice the hash rate for the same price, more or less. Now, I know GPUs have come down a little bit more in price. Maybe you can actually find 3070s for $500 now, but these were kind of the average prices I saw on recently sold on eBay, so it is what I'm gonna go with. Now, having a look a little bit further down here, you can see most of the things we have are filled in here already automatically. But the one thing we do have to fill in, of course, is what price we would sell each coin at. So for example, if we were to go with today's price for all of these coins, you can see here we are getting, you see how it's auto populating all of the other cells down here. So you can see what our total revenue would be. That's the sort of total dollar amount we would be making. And then you can see when you factor in the electricity price there, it is then also giving you a sort of profit per dollar spent on equipment. Now, these are more just to compare profitability, if you will, between the different coins in order to see, okay, what coin gives me the best return. Now, of course, that isn't something we can say so matter of fact, because of course that depends on what price we are willing to sell our coins at. And if we say, well, I'm not going to sell ETC until it hits $1,200, but I'm willing to sell Ravencoin at just 2.7 cents, then yeah, of course, Ethereum Classic is going to be a way better investment in terms of profit per dollar than Ravencoin is. But is that really realistic? Maybe not. At least it's not comparing apples to apples, right? But just by going with today's prices, we can see that investing in Ethereum Classic mining equipment is a better investment in terms of sort of profit per dollar spent than Ravencoin, ERGO, and Flux. Now, of course, nothing in this video is financial advice. Nothing in my videos is ever financial advice. This is just based on, you know, this little fun math I did here. But I still went with this investing about the equal amount for all 4 coins because I wanted to sort of, you know, diversify my sort of risk in a way, you know, like 1 coin could go to crap, even 2 coins could go to crap, and I could still end up with some sort of profit. While if you go all in on Ethereum Classic, for example, and then that coin just dies, then you've wasted all of your money, right? So it's a bit of diversification in order to hedge yourself a little bit in terms of something going wrong. So let's have a look here, right? So as I already mentioned, in terms of investing in mining equipment for Ethereum Classic is, you know, according to today's prices, the best investment per dollar. However, both Flux and Ravencoin is pretty close. And then we can see ERGO is lagging behind a little bit. But what if we, instead of selling at today's price, sell the next time these coins hit an all-time high? So let's fill that in for each coin here real quick. And let's see how it changes. And you can see now that Ethereum Classic ended up in 3rd position, with ERGO still lost, but we have Ravencoin in 1st and Flux in 2nd. So things changed a little bit there. Now, you can also take into account how much potential do you think each coin really has? How high will they go? Or will you have to sell the coins every day and you have to, you know, go by this today price and it would change and fluctuate each day. So, but let's move on down here a little bit. So as you can see, we have our days mined. You fill that in here yourself. Price per kilowatt hour, which isn't really relevant when doing the solar, but that is just so that if you choose not to do solar, this spreadsheet still takes that into account so that you can calculate your profits using that. You then have the total money you've invested and the total kilowatt hours you've used up. And as you can see here, I have actually used 55 kilowatt hours for mining for a full year. Now that's just because my solar setup here doesn't quite cover 100% of the electricity, it only covers about 99 point something percent, right? So I do end up using 55 kilowatt hours after a year. But let's have a look at the actual ROI time and profitability of this farm. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Due to the crypto market correction, GPU prices are going down. It's a great opportunity to expand, which is why Octominer is having a sale. They manufacture the best mining rigs in the industry and supply rigs to some of the largest GPU mining farms around the world. On average, they manufacture 2,000 to 4,000 rigs per month, and currently around 2% of the total Ethereum net hash rate is running in Octominer rigs. They are also an official AMD blockchain partner. Starting July 25th and going through July 29th, use the code OCTO10-072922 on checkout to get 10% off your entire order on their website. Please reach out to them at support@octominer.com for any questions.
Alright, so we're back, and let's scroll down and have a look at the revenue, power cost, and actual profit here. So, as you can see, our total revenue is pretty much equal to our total profit in this case because we are fully solar. We don't pay anything for electricity. Well, we actually do pay $5.55 here because of our 10 kilowatt hour price, electricity price. You can of course change this to be whatever you want it to be, and of course this is taking into account holding all of the coins, mining for a full year, and then selling the next time all these coins hit an all-time high. But it is safe to say that using that strategy, if you were able to, of course that takes into account that all of these coins have to beat their old all-time highs at some point, you would actually ROI this farm in just about 180 days, I believe. Yeah, a little bit more, 186 maybe? Yeah, there you go. So you would ROI the farm in 186 days if you mine and hold all the coins and then sell the next time these coins hit their all-time high. However, let's go with something else. Let's go with our, using today's price as the price we sell at and see how long would it take to ROI in that case. So obviously not 186 days. Let's see how close we get within a year. Now this is also of course using the yields that we're seeing currently. Those might change after Ethereum 2.0, who knows. This is just a fun little hypothetical document anyway, because as I said, I don't believe many of you watching will have a $1 million mining farm coming up anytime soon. And anyway, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're all secretly millionaires watching me. But as you can see, it would probably take closer to maybe 1,000 days of ROIing. A little bit more actually, 1,300, 1,400. There we go. And that is selling at the prices we see today, as I said. Now, one final thing I wanted to have a look at here is what if you don't go with a solar setup, right? So let's get rid of this. Now, of course, we are still generating the same amount in terms of total revenue, but we are paying a bit of power cost here. So our profit is obviously lower. However, our investment went down from 1 million to only $381,000, 382 almost. So you could theoretically get 3 times as much in terms of hash rate for the same price. Now, you would have to put some money away for power cost, obviously, but you could theoretically double this and then have enough money left over in order to let this mine for 1,400 days. So is that the better investment? Well, it kind of depends. With solar, after the first initial investment, it would cover your electricity basically indefinitely until the panels break down. Most panels from my research come with at least a 25-year warranty, so they should last you up to 25 years at the very least, and if they don't, you should be able to get free replacements. So solar is technically free electricity for 25 years after the initial investment, of course. But because of all the money we have left over here, let's double all of our numbers and see what we get. So I'll do that quickly and I'll be right back. Alright, so I doubled all of our mining equipment now, so we are getting twice the hash rate on everything. And as you can see, that basically doubled our investment. Still not the full $1 million because we still need to put some money aside for power costs, right? Now, we don't have the full amount to cover our power costs here, but that's okay because we will take some out of our profits to do so. So as you can see here, initial investment was $763,788. And our total revenue is just over $2 million, but the power cost close to $500,000, which leaves us with a profit after 1,400 days of $1,612. So a little bit more in terms of profit than we made on the solar setup. However, at this point, we have already ran out of money to pay for power costs, and we are, taking part of our profits to pay for power. While with the solar at this point, everything we mine beyond then is basically free money because electricity is free, and at that point we had broken even on our whole setup first. So there you go. So which is better, solar setup versus paying for your electricity? It comes down to how much you pay for power and how long it would be able to run, basically. But as I said, please let me know in the comments what you would get, and please download the spreadsheet and fill it out for yourself and have a play around because it's fun. But that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it one of these, and if you really liked it, you can now join the channel to help support what I do here. It really does make a big difference and it means a lot to me, so thank you. But what you gotta do now is you gotta click on one of those videos on the screen. Because this video is over, you can also click the picture on my face to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, go click on one of those videos and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Goodbye, bye bye.